Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Jonesboro. Today we have with us Ted Herget. And Ted, you already know because you have been to Gearhead and you have been around Jonesboro. But Ted is not just an entrepreneur, not just a civic leader, but a Jonesboro native and a lover of Jonesboro.
Yeah.
And Ted, that speaks from years of evolution, I guess, in your way of looking at Jonesboro and your idea of your responsibility toward Jonesboro.
No, absolutely. I mean, like in the back of our T-shirts, there's a little line that just says, "Man, if you take care of the community will take care of you." I mean, it's kind of like it's a two-way street, and I think that's Jonesboro's been really good to us, and I think in turn, we've worked and we continue to work. I mean, every day trying to get better and give back in every way, facet. I mean, any opportunity, to give back, we do. I mean, that's just, man, that's our core beliefs, core values, and as a company, as a person, as a parent, you're just, you got to pour yourself into it. And man, I'm a huge fan of Jonesboro. Man, I'm fighting for it, love it. I'm a huge fan of Gearhead, fighting for it, love it. I'm just happy to sit here and talk with you.
I have learned in living in different places that you're kind of almost as good as your downtown. Mm-hmm. You've got to have it, no matter how big the city, that downtown is a key asset.
I think when you're and that's part of selling your city. I mean, because that's what we do. I mean, it's what the city sells it. The chamber selling it. I mean, and when you're trying to recruit new people, and attract, that the next generation of people here, it's an easy backdrop to sell. I mean, and I don't know how many people will move to Jonesboro because we have 8 McDonald's or a Red Lobster or whatever. I mean, I think there's part of the culture, there's part of the history. I mean, and it's a story. Like within our store. I mean, I've got a guy that, he's pretty much our chief storyteller. And so it's man, we need to do. I think telling Jonesboro story is important. And I think honing it in, to a singular voice is even more important, and that way then we can all sell the same and all tell the same story.
To you, what is Jonesboro's story?
I think seeing the buildings, walking through things like that. I mean, you're stepping back in 120 years, and maybe you have to build the story a little bit yourself, but you've got there's a lot of people around that know the entire history. I don't, but I think it's something that we need to do a really good. I mean, we need to do a better job of like going back to that core belief, core value, and go, okay, let's build on this strength, let's build on this story, and I want to be a part of it. I mean, I want to help, but downtown's when you look at ASU trying to sell the campus, man, it's always pictures of downtown. When you see the city of Jonesboro trying to sell, they have ASU and they have downtown. I mean, you look at the Chamber of Commerce when they're trying to sell, they'll have ASU, they'll have pictures of downtown. I mean, and the success of downtown, it goes. There was a civic group of guys back in the mid '90s, the JCPA, Jonesboro Central Planning Association, that took their time. I mean, it wasn't self-interest. It was just guys that went out, and fought to get the grants and fought to kind of get that downtown revitalized. And it was back with it was Mr. Fowler and Mr. Owens and Mr. Freeman and a really good group of Mr. Frierson, guys that understood the value of what a strong downtown, a healthy downtown represents, just like what to your point. And man, I a lot of times they'll pull a few of us property owners downtown, going, "Man, you guys have done a great job." Man, we just the work was done from the JCPA, and we're just kind of benefactors of that. Man, we're the heartbeat, the pulse of it, But it's an experience. You're not going to get. It's a unique experience, and yeah, it comes and goes, but so does. It's the good businesses stay, and we're all learning. I think just the city's learning how to handle downtown. We're all, everybody's. It's still that learning process of, man, traffic, the parking, the this, the that, what have you, So.
Well, there's everybody has their own vision of what they think Jonesboro should be, and it's cool to see that much passion in a community because we're growing fast, and with growth there are struggles. But you have this vision of quality of life. And you know, every time I see scores of Jonesboro being a good place to live or a good place to work, some of our lowest scores are in quality of life. And I think we're trying to address that as a city. I know it's a priority for Mayor Perrin, and I know it's a priority for you and the groups that you work with. So tell me how you guys are addressing
Well,
that.
that's how these other cities are selling against us. I mean, that's how they're attracting, you know, and retaining, you know, the brightest and the best. You know, I mean, you know, interview your customer, which is, you know, if it's a young engineer, the young physician, whatever that target audience, you know, you're going for. I mean, can we be better at quality of life? Absolutely. We can be better at everything. You know, and when people wake up and go, man, things are just fine. No, I mean, you know, that's like a quitter's mentality. I mean, you know, like my quality of life in Jonesboro is fabulous. I love it, you know. I mean, but I think what a lot of the old Jonesboro guys and girls and family, you know, what we take for granted is just that, is the old relationships and the history that we all share, you know, and sharing in the growth, sharing in the you know, it. But when you're trying to relate to someone new coming to town that does not have the roots that we have, you know, it's like, where do they meet them? Where is the place? I mean, what is that facility? How do we, you know, bring people together? I mean, what is it? I mean, and if it's, I mean, a lot of people's answer go, well, it's going to be church. I was like, and I think that's a great thing, you know. But you know, there's so many though. I mean, it's like, man, how do we get people from church to church to talk and do more, you know, round table style talk and things like that? But quality of life, you know, in a lot of these towns are parks and amphitheaters, music. But I think it's putting the next generation of people together to come up with those problems. I mean, I don't think this is a problem you and I try to solve. I think it's at ASUs and it's at the high schools and it's at things like that. It's like, man, we need to engage these young people,
Yeah.
the next generation, to step in and go, hey, man, this is what we'd like to see, you know. And you know, just talking with that entrepreneur class at ASU, this, you know, he said, man, you know, the kid's 25. He said, man, they generally don't let you, you know, do things till like, you know, you're 25, 26, you know. And I'm sitting there, like, speaking of they, and I'm like, Gearhead is ran by kids from 19 to like 33 years old. That's who runs it. I don't run anymore, man. I got Gearhead to one store. I get a lot of accolades for growing this thing. I did one store. But it's these young kids that have come in and grown it to 11, and I don't know how far they'll grow it, but they'll do it. I mean, man, they're great kids. They're super smart. But I was not somebody going, well, this is my way. It's that top down. It's just the old school management style, man. And you know, in this day and age, it's I like to call our management style fluid, because man, everything's changing, and my guy, you know, we're constantly moving positions around, but it's kind of just a horizontal playing field. It's like, man, everybody has input. We love everybody's input. We value everybody's input, you know, but it's my way, you know, or the highway, and it's a.
If you turn everything over to the kids, Ted, we're going to be watching Wheel of Fortune all for 24/7, and I don't dig it.
You don't like Wheel of Fortune? It's somewhat.
And it's
I'm not saying you don't steer them. You know, I still sit like in kind of like a board. You know, we do roundtables, and you know, it's just like per, you know, you and I's conversation in the past about trying to engage young kids into the city political ring.
Yeah.
Engage them around where they're comfortable. Local politics is very important, and that's new, and I'm ashamed. I'm just now trying to get engaged and understand, you know, honestly, how just our city government, you know, operates.
And how important it is for people to be involved in it.
It's a business. I mean, you know, I think what happens and what you know, what we've seen. So pattern after that JCPA group, you know, I've been trying to work on just a civic group of guys that, you know, girls that just to kind of come together and like, man, how do you make Jonesboro better? Yeah. You know, just in dialogue, just basic roundtable. You know, we'll meet, have coffee, 10 of us, and just kind of chat about, you know, ideas and understanding, you know, how it operates. You know, and I mean, the harsh reality is the city gets lobbed into, unfortunately, into the national political scene. You know, when you say tax, it's like the key word, man. I mean, it's people just throw their hands in the air, and being in retail, I stare people down the gun barrel every day, collecting sales tax. I mean, and through the years, you just, government's got to get just one more piece of it, or this, or, you know, whatever the story goes, and So as I've been in retail for 30 years, and man, and collected I don't know how much sales tax through the years, I finally took it upon myself, which I should have done it a long time ago. I called the head of the Department of Finance and Administration, the Sales and Use Tax Division, and just asked him where it went, because it's I mean, to me, it's awesome. I mean, you know, when you say the word tax and you say awesome, a lot of people aren't going to buy into that.
Right.
But man, like you go home and, you know, people pick your trash up. It's pretty awesome. Where do you think the money
really
comes
nice.
from
Right.
to pay for that? I mean, I'm like, it's, you know, so you know, the last few years with kind of the onset, you know, a lot of the, you know, the Amazons of the world and all this, you know, online convenience kind of, you know, and I get it, you know, but you got to dig deep, man, and kind of go, man, where does, you know, and a lot of people don't think about who pays to pick the trash up. You know, where does that, you know, this is all local. I mean, this is all Jonesboro local, you know, generated funds, man, that is sales tax generated. I mean, it's like once I figured out, man, how
There's a cause and effect relationship.
where our sales tax goes is awesome.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
awesome, you know, and, you know, but again, and I'm not saying all taxes are awesome, you know, I'm not saying they're painful, but it's a part of that pay to play system. But if you want to skate it and buy it online, then you're not doing the buy-in, you know, and this is kind of part of, like, you know, of that, just think Jonesboro concept is educating people.
Right.
And man, and I like the truth. I can rally behind the truth, you know. Do I know where all the, you know, the 40% of your federal tax? No. But do you know where all your sales tax goes? The answer is yes. And you can track it, and it's pretty cool. And it goes to us and our kids. I mean, it's
Right.
our policemen, our firemen, our teachers, man, the
sanitation
trash guy.
department
It's
that
like,
keeps
come
your-
on, man. I
keeps
mean,
your
it's
trash picked up
how would you
every
not rally behind that?
Right.
I mean, you guys are doing jobs that are very meaningful, affect all of our lives, and everybody's out there to just give me more. And I'm like, well, let's figure out how to get more. You know, let's work as a group. Let's come together. You know, you guys are up there working hard. I mean, you guys are up there trying to keep Jonesboro out of the ditches. You know, and you know, when you pull the sheets off, I mean, like I said, I just don't feel like anybody's telling the story of man, just how you fund the whole mechanism. You know, when you say sales tax, people freak out. You know, well, I'm going to buy it from Amazon because I don't pay sales tax. Cool. All right.
Well, sales tax is a law. You should, by law, you should pay your sales tax. Internet. If you order something off the internet, by law, you should pay.
Well, you
sales
buy a
tax
car
on
in
it.
Memphis, you come here, you got to pay for it. I mean, it's just people are going to skate, you know, and to me, it's dishonest, you know. But man, you live and you learn. I mean, most people don't know how to, you know. But my deal is like, man, it's right.
Just think, Jonesboro. Was this your creation? Is this?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, in a sense, you know, I was in Flagstaff, Arizona, and there was a little thing called Think Flag, you know, but the common theme when you sit around and you talk to people about sales tax and what it represents, you know, and that's what pays for our police. That's what, I mean, it's like, man, once you start talking to people about where that money goes, it's like you want more of it, you know. I mean, and people go, oh man, I never thought about that, you know. It's like, man, I've never. So it was just you repeatedly heard, I've never thought of it that way, you know, or man, I've never, you know, something to think about, whatever that might be. But I think it's just engaging people before they quickly judge. You know, I think there's just a story that needs to be told, man, that's not being told, and it's an economic development story. I mean, it's a livability story. I mean, it's a quality of life story. I mean, it's just a civic story, man, that we all need to buy into, you know, or we're gonna have some tough, you know, I know that's what drives Harold nuts. I mean, it's gonna be some tough decisions down the road, man, that no one's gonna like, you know, and I just try to get out ahead of it as fast as we can, you know, but I think education is the biggest part of that.
It is.
Tell the story, and then let them, you know, and then it's their decisions. Is this when we hug?
This is where, yeah.
Do we kiss
Ted,
now? I mean,
yeah.
that'd be cute. Everybody love that.
We can hug now. Ted, thank you for joining us on Let's Talk Jonesboro.
You bet, man. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you.
Good
All right,
stuff.
man.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
Appreciate all your
Ted
work,
Herget.
man.
And we think Jonesboro. Anything else you want to mention?
I just say, man, it's just the beginning. Just stay tuned. More to come.
More to come.